Okay, so what I'm going to go over right now is just a my architecture one class. They're just starting, or you guys are just starting, depending on who I'm talking to. Um, they're just starting out with being able to execute simple floor plans, and so I just wanted to pop a couple of videos up just to describe the way or the methodology that we start. Now, if I am starting a floor plan and off of a balloon sketch or an overlaid drawing, um, then I typically go ahead and furnish myself with a number of blocks that I know are going to be imperative for me to use right off the bat, like a bed, a bathtub, a toilet, and a bathroom vanity. Those things make it real easy to start figuring out sizing of rooms. I can't just ever jump out and say the room should be 10 by 12. I kind of have to put the ingredients in the space first to determine how that's really going to work. And I'll come back to that as I document the way I'm going to actually construct my own guest house. Okay. But a couple of ways you can start. So let's just say if I was I'm going to go ahead and put myself on my wall layer right here. Um, let's just say I was going to build a 20 foot by 20 foot house. A couple of real easy ways to do this. If you can deal with the house as all connected, at least from the outside walls standpoint, that makes it easy. So I can use my rectangle tool and I can click some starting point on my screen. And remember, with a rectangle, you have to use the @ symbol. I'll move my thing down here, but you can see I use now I'm getting a delay. I use the @ symbol, and now I would type in 20 apostrophe because I'm in architectural settings, 20 comma 20 apostrophe, and that gives me a 20 foot by 20 foot square. All right, so that's a 400 square foot area. Okay. Next thing I have to know is that exterior walls are offset 6 inches outward. Okay. So in this case, I could go ahead and just use my offset tool, right, which is down here, or I just type in O space, ask me for the distance. I type in 6. I click there and I click to the outside because finished square footage is the inside of the space. Okay. Now, in architecture, the main tools that we use are offset, extend, and trim. Offset, extend, and trim. Offset, extend, and trim. So now, if I were to try to do any kind of offsets with this, it's going to keep offsetting a joined rectangle. So, like if I wanted a room that was 10 feet or a wall that was 10 feet inside of this one, if I said offset 10 feet and I click here, I'm going to get a silly looking thing. And I don't even know why it's not doing it. Offset 10 feet, 10 apostrophe, click here. It can't do it. It can't execute the offset. So anyhow, what I would do first is I would take this and explode it. So let's say now if I want to build a wall, if I wanted to divide this house down the middle, I say offset 10 apostrophe, and here I go. Okay, so now that I've split the house in half. Remember now that you're talking about wall thickness on interiors, which we're going to use this for. So if I offset 4 inches, you got to see what happens here is I've actually made this room a little bit smaller than this room, right? Because this was a center line of the space. So if I was ever trying to do something like that, I would have to offset 2 apostrophe, right? 2 inches to this side. Oh, sorry, I offset it 2 feet. I would go offset 2 inches, and voila, I would go here, and then I would go this way. Okay. Now this 4-inch wall, I don't need the middle one anymore, is exactly halfway between. When you are drawing walls, you got to think about the walls being like pipes almost. You got to go ahead and get rid of these intersections right here, and so you can trim those out. Sometimes I just do that as I go. Okay. Another way I could have done this is I could have used a polyline, and I could have started at any point I wanted to, and I could go up 20 apostrophe for feet, over 20 apostrophe for feet, down 20 apostrophe for feet. And when you get to this point, you don't have to do it again. You can just say C for close and hit the space bar. Okay. Same thing, doing the same exact footprint. If I offset this 6 inches, I would click right here. I would go to the outside. That does change depending on your build lines and everything else. So there we go. Another thing, just to give you a heads up, that you can do down here, you have where your polar button is, kind of looks like a clock. Next to that, you have ortho. Sometimes it's really fast to go ahead and hang out. Just go ahead and do a line like this. When I turn ortho on, right, it locks me. Oh, wasn't on. It locks me into only X and Y directions. Okay. So now I just type in 20 apostrophe over this way, 20 apostrophe. If my house is all right angles, then that makes it real fast for me to do that. Okay. So in this case, I'm going to do one thing different. I'm going to go ahead and go offset, but this time I'm going to go ahead and use 6 inches again, but this time I didn't use a polyline. So you can see what ended up happening is that it's making me have to offset every wall, all right? So using a polyline or the rectangle tool speeds it up. Now here's a little trick, and I use this all the time in architecture. This tool under your trim right here to the left of explode is called fillet. Usually that means a round edge. It's rounding over an edge. But if you click radius and you type in 0 and hit enter, now there is no radius. So if I click this line and this line, it fills it in at a 90-degree angle. So real handy and real fast to do that. Okay. Anyhow, so that's the basics. Okay, of setting up walls. So while I'm here, I'm going to do one other thing. Okay, and we'll finish this up. But anyhow, so these are all independent walls. So regardless of which method you use to get there, what you do want to do is make sure that everything is, at this point, exploded. You want every individual line on this to be its own line, okay? You don't want it to be associated with anything else, okay? So let's say I have to build a door, okay? I'm going to build this same door, but I'm going to do it 2 ways, and this is the starting point. So let's just say that, I typically kind of plan my entry first, okay? So if my entry into the house is going to be right here, I have to go ahead and use a 36-inch door. Code says you have to have one 36-inch door, okay? And it also says that you have to have a minimum. So if my door were to like swing this way, you have to have a minimum of from any door or window or anything else to the adjacent wall, right? If my door is going on this side here is the adjacent wall. I have to keep a minimum of 3 inches, okay? So let's show you my process. All I do is I go offset 3 inches, all right? I'm going to go ahead and offset this line, and now so I can remember what I'm doing, I might go ahead and click that and put it on my door layer, okay? And I'm going to also make sure I'm drawing on my door layer. So now you can see I'm set to door. So what I'm going to do now is extend it, okay? Extend is found under trim, but I never actually use it with the icon, because once I use it with the icon, it stays defaulted to the last one you use. So I would always rather have trim up because I think I use it more. But I use the shortcut, the hotkeys, which is EX spacebar, okay? The way that this works is you pick where you want the line to go. So I click that, and I right click, and then I click what I want to go there, all right? So what I'm doing is I'm cutting a hole in this wall. So now I'm going to go ahead and offset, but this time I'm going to say 3 feet or 36 inches, and I'm going to click over on this side. And all I have left to do now is use my trim tool, TR spacebar. You should just remember that one. Right click instantly, click in there. And now I can go ahead and I can select this. I can go ahead and just delete the opening. I'm going to make a copy of this for a second because the challenge I want to present in here, the question I want to pose, ties in directly to this. Okay. I see students all the time. This is just a symbol for a door. I'm really not drawing a door. I'm just showing where it swings. Okay. It's an illustration basically. So if my door is a 36-inch opening, or if my opening is 36 inches, my door is 36 inches. Now I understand in the real world, the jamb, okay, which is the side of the door, is, got to go back here and turn polar on. The jamb, the hinge is always here, right? Your door opens this way and closes to right here. The easy way to do this, and the way that I do this to represent it, is I go to the outside of the wall or the room or whatever, and you go up and you just type in the length of the door. In this case, it's 36. Next step and the last step is you just grab an arc. You select the end of your door. You select the inside of the opening or the inside of the wall, and then you select the outside of the wall. And that shows the pathway of the door, okay? Good thing I always ask students, sometimes I say, which way should the light switch go? Should it be over here? Should it be over here? Most people get that right. Yep, the light switch should be right here. So when you open the door, you put your hand over to the side and you're good to go. I'm going to do the same thing so you can see a door happen one more time. This time, I'm going to come over on this side and I'm going to draw my door. Type in 36 because that opening was already made at 36. I grab an arc. First point is the end of the door. Second point is the inside of the wall. Third point is the outside of the wall. Okay. So you've seen it twice. Repeat, go back and check it as you need to and everything else. But I do have a question, and there is a right or wrong answer to this. And the answer is, which one of these is wrong? You got to think about it for a second. My answer is this is wrong. Okay. And the reason is that this door, when it hinges open, is going to come all the way over to here. Okay. And that means that all of this space, 3 feet to the right side of this door, is useless. I can't really put much there at all. I can't put another wall or a closet or anything else because I've used it up. And really, then that means that you have to kind of walk past the door and keep opening the door to enter the space. Okay. So this is your better bet right here. If you look, I challenge you to say, go look around your house right now and see what you see. Look and see how doors swing open. If I had put my door in the center of the room or the center of the mini house or whatever it is, yes, there's probably not a wrong or a right answer because the door in either case is going to use up area on a flat wall. If that's the case, then my question becomes, where are you going? What's your pathway? Are you going, is this your primary pathway? This is what we would call a traffic pattern. So in that case, you want to go ahead and make your door swing away from the traffic pattern. So you'll get used to it, but that is it. So good luck. Try to do that on your own.